Hey everyone, what's the crack? Lawrence here with the LEOXZ XGT Ultimate. That is a mouthful. The world is going mad. €600 for a steering wheel with a screen. Only 2 years ago, something like this would have been €1,500. It is absolutely amazing. I can't wait to try this. It's my first product from the range. Let's do this. So the box, straight away, the box looks very motorsports. The black and the yellow, I don't know, is it Motec or something? It reminds me of something. I don't exactly know what it is. Even the font, I don't know what it is. You can probably tell me in the comments. Let's open this and see what's in here. We've got some stickers. So stickers seem like fairly normal stickers. Nothing too unusual to report there. Take this foam off here and there it is. As how the hell is this a €600 steering wheel? This is insane. Let's put this box to the side. I'm mad surprised by this. But okay, we've got some wireless connectivity bits and pieces here. So that looks like a USB dongle that plugs into the PC for wireless connectivity, but we've also got a USB cable if you want a USB connected. So we'll be trying both of those. That's incredible for €600, guys. That's pretty good. These grips, straight away, as I feel them here, they feel very similar to the Simagic steering wheels. We've got a flat face. We've got our flag LEDs at the side are like a little triangle rather than a straight line, which is also cool. Be especially cool for like car left, car right type of thing. We've got click down on all these rotaries, which is nice to see. The rotaries are a little bit light, so they're not as heavy as a lot of the competitors. Still perfectly usable, and we'll see how over time how they actually perform. 7-way hats, the detent slightly nicer, and we've got a lovely click. There's a lovely click when you do click them, and they're located in a good position. 5 rotaries on the front as well, which is great for games like LMU, where you really need to you need to configure your curves and your engine map and all those things on the fly, A or B. So having loads of those, this is really straying into LMP territory, which is great to see. We've got thumb encoders here as well. They're nice, they're out of the way. We still have loads of space for thumbs, and we've got loads of these little buttons that give a nice click. There are lots of them within reach. We've got 5 buttons within reach here. No buttons on the back here, but we do have these up high paddles. And for those of you who like clicky shifters, they don't get much more clicky than that. So if you like a good, like, intentional shift, don't worry about that though. You can very easily make that less by just adding a tiny little bit of damping. A little bit of tape or something will already reduce that, so don't worry about that. We see a wireless antenna here, pre-installed, and our USB is here. What we also see, what's super interesting, is our power here. How this all works is, even though you have wireless connectivity to your PC, if you plug it in via USB, you don't get power. That's why you need the USB. And at the time when you're specifying what you want, you can specify which quick release you want as well. So I specified a Simagic one just because that's what I had on the rig at the time when I asked them for this. You can get a Moza 1 Fanatec and all of that. So choose whichever one you want. This is like an incredible price for €600. Only a year or two ago, these were €1,500, which is mad. I mean, you can still get more expensive ones, but we are talking carbon fiber and very little compromise here. Carbon fiber shifter paddles with aluminium, and these clutch paddles feel, quite good, really good. We do see right away, even just my little bit of handling here, we can see that dirt does get attracted to these grips. Again, similar to what we saw with the Simagic, was it the FX Pro and the likes. So that is something to be aware of. but also something that you can clean, or if you're using gloves, I think you'll still get some dirt on there, but this is a beautiful bit of kit. We'll have to get it in the rig, try it out, try out those features, try out the software, see what that screen is like, because I think that screen is going to be the party piece for this. That is absolutely gorgeous. Let's get in the rig. So it's been several weeks actually that I've had this steering wheel on the rig. I've been using it on my live streams as well, and I'm liking it. I'm really liking it. It's got, you can actually see, similar to what you have on screen, the Cosworth lights, the way the Cosworth lights are in that little triangle format. So it is very much aimed at LMP driving. It's a lovely wheel. I had my reservations at the start. Not necessarily about the build quality or anything like that, because the build quality is actually very nice. That was very apparent straight away. The functionality is excellent. I had some worries about the wireless connectivity. That's why this video actually took quite a while. I guess firstly, it does take... it takes a little bit of effort to get it working. It says that it's all paired up from the factory and stuff. It wasn't for me. I actually ended up bricking the device as well while I was installing it. So it was a little bit of a rough start for me, and I just didn't want to judge the whole thing off that start. I also wanted to see how reliable that wireless connection was, and I've been using this primarily in wireless mode. I've never had to reconnect it. It's been zero maintenance, really. It connects when I need it to connect. It gets its power from the Simagic wheelbase. So I've got a Simagic QR on here, as you guys saw in the earlier part of the video, and it's a great bit of kit, guys. The dashes are very, very clear on it. The one thing that I would really love to see, and now I need to keep in mind that this is, you know, in this spec, this is a similar price to the Asetek Forte Formula wheel, which I absolutely love. I adore that wheel. This is a similar price with arguably more functionality. I've got the extra paddles, I've got the clutch paddles, I've also got the wireless connectivity, which I guess is a huge thing if you're not on an Asetek base, which is what we're doing right now. We're on a Simagic base, and you can get QRs that will allow the power for the wheel to come from the wheelbase itself. So it just taps into that power that the wheelbase would otherwise be giving to its native wheels. Why that's significant is we now have a wireless wheel which you can use on any wheelbase, and this really truly feels like a native experience. I've got the wireless receiver plugged into a it's a USB hub. Never had any issues. Now it is just behind my screen, so it's about, I guess, 40 centimeters away, 50 centimeters away max. Say 40 centimeters, and the steering wheel has never had any power issues. I am running it at 50% brightness. That's because that was recommended, but it's been bright enough for me, and I race generally in a dark-ish room like I'm driving right now. So shifts are relatively loud, guys. If you like a quiet shifter, then this may not be the wheel for you. I think you can dampen it quite easily though. I've not had to, I've not needed to. I do have kids in the house and stuff, and I do race after they go to sleep, but it's not loud enough to wake people. It is loud enough to be a minor inconvenience to flatmates or whatever. So it actually reminds me of the early Simagic steering wheels, the way the click is. The click of the shifter is just it's a nice loud solid click, and it's one thing that whenever I use this steering wheel on the stream, people are like, holy crap, what wheel is that? It sounds amazing. So some people love the sound of that click, and you can probably hear it going on the background there as well. It is really nice. You can see the flag animations and that. This is all native. It's all canned in the LEOXZ profile, and it takes care of all this. Again, I would love to see a good lighting profile being made available by them or by Daniel Newman Racing or something like that. What I mean by a lighting profile is I'd like to have nicer in-game effects than I have now. All this whole white thing is just not great. I don't really like it that much. I like that the flags illuminate and stuff. That's all good. But even when I like click a button, I don't get any animation from that button click, which I would like to have. It's a nice to have, really, but it is something that adds to the experience when you have a wheel of this. I guess this is a high-end wheel, guys. The only thing that lets it down is the grips. The grips are very like the Simhub, what are they called? A complete blank. The FX, sorry, the Simhub FX. I don't know why I drew a blank there. The Simhub FX steering wheels. The grips are almost identical from memory to those, so that doesn't mean they're bad though. They do have a comfortable feeling. They've got a slight softness to them, but all in all, I think they're quite good. They're quite decent. My session just ended there, and when you do come out of game, it often does just kind of crash like this. That's not necessarily the wheel itself. I think that may be a Simhub issue, but I've noticed it a lot with this wheel. It is nice though that you just don't have any of that cabling to deal with. We should now get the default lighting, or the lighting that profile that I have set up. I know it's still on the existing one. So you get a little bit of this finickiness, and that's kind of brings me on to one of my final points here. It is a fantastic wheel, but it's not as seamless an experience as you may expect at the high end. There's a slight element of DIY to just getting it to work the way that you want to work, especially if it doesn't pair up via the via the wireless straight away. You've got this the kind of the churn of having to update firmware and stuff like that. And I bricked it. So I mean, I bricked it. During an update, it failed, and then all of a sudden the wheel was doing nothing anymore. So then I had to go and download another app, and that app had to flash new firmware onto this. And basically what I'm saying is, if you're not technical, this could get complicated. Whereas, I guess, compared to the likes of the Asetek Formula Pro with the Asetek software, it's all just a little bit cleaner, a little bit neater. The benefit of this, though, is you can use this with absolutely any wheelbase. As long as a QR can fit it, which it will, you can get the adapters, you can get everything. As long as there's power supply, you can get it working, or the USB cable, which I did also use, but I expected that to work. The wireless, I didn't expect it to be as crisp and as clean as it was. It's well worth it for me. I think it's well worth getting that wireless, because as you can see, there's just no cables under here, and it's a really nice experience. You see here that dash changed slightly. Let me just restart Simhub here. When I turn off Simhub, so Simhub is off now, you can see that the wheel is still kind of in that state. So if I hook it up again. So this is the way that it should be when the wheel starts up. And then when I start up Simhub, it should go into my default lighting profile. So it's just not completely seamless. There we go. This is the way that I'd love these lights to be in my in-game profile as well, like while I'm driving the car, but it automatically switches to that white, and it's just a little bit of effort to get it all. I mean, with Simhub you can get it to look like this, but through the software, the LEOXZ software in Simhub, it's like a plugin that you have to install. It's all a little bit complex. It's not as nice, not as straightforward. I can show it to you here. So when you go to the LEOXZ SimBridge, it's called, this is what the app looks like. And you can choose which dashboard you use. So I usually use Lovely Dashboard, the Solpack Dashboard, or I use the Daniel Newman Racing Endurance Dashboard. They're kind of my favorite dashboards. The GSI dashboard is actually quite good as well. And then here, when you go into this edit preset, it allows you to set the colors, which are the colors that you see there. But I can't just set that to my in-game as well. So I guess off when in race is this one here. It's it's not as intuitive. I mean, I know I could set it to always on, but then you might lose out on some of the other lighting effects as well. So you really kind of have to know your way around Simhub, and that's where the likes of a profile. I'd love if LEOXZ actually gave a profile with this. And searching on their website and stuff, there's nothing too clear. And I would assume that those profiles would just come with this. And last but not least, it is not a touchscreen. So I actually have to map one of my 7-way hats here to adjust the things on screen. Why touchscreen matters these days with the likes of your lovely dashboard, with your Daniel Newman Racing Endurance dashboard, you can change, let's say you want to change the right hand side of the screen to, instead of showing your delta, you want to show your pedal inputs, or you want to show a track map. With a touch screen, you can just simply touch, and it's very, very nice. With this, you can't. So you need to map these controls. So I just control them. You can I just map them. You can map them to absolutely any control, but you can map there's like a section A, B, and C, and you just they're not very intuitive. Again, it's just a little technical, and that's just a drawback of any non-touchscreen wheel. So even the Asetek Forte, Formula, and the Invicta have that issue still, because the touchscreen doesn't pass through to Simhub. With this, there's no touchscreen at all. So it's something that I would love to see in the future. With this, the screen being 4-inch didn't really bother me. Ultimately, I do think I'd go for a 5-inch screen. My favorite wheel of all time, I guess, is the Solpec Spectra. That has a lovely large screen. There are some other ones that have that huge screen as well. Just gives that extra little bit of real estate, and that makes it easier when you're driving to glance at it. Because really, and I have to say this in every video where I have a steering wheel with a screen, unless you're in a Formula seating position, you need to go out of your way to look at a screen that's on a wheel. Whereas if you have a display unit that's sitting above your steering wheel, that's closer to your eye line, so it's closer to the screen. Whereas the screen on your steering wheel is usually below your screen, if that makes sense. So it's a bit of a context switch to be looking down, looking up, looking down. So I would really just reserve it for data that you either want to check on the straights, you want to just pull away from your on-screen HUD, but not stuff that's absolutely essential. Like if you're looking for if you like looking at your delta, or if you like looking at your pedal inputs or what, it's not ideal. But a steering wheel is the ultimate statement piece you can have on your rig. So I would still probably ignore that advice and just get one with a screen on it, because it looks the best, in my opinion. I hope that was a good rundown of this steering wheel. I will continue using this into the future. Some time has passed. I usually do long-term reviews as well. I'm not sure if I'll actually need one with this, because I am quite assured by the quality. I've highlighted the technicalities and the little bit of kind of a DIY aspect, but the price, guys, the price more than makes up for that. The top spec one with the wireless and everything, is still less than €800. That is an absolute bargain. If you can look past and the grips aren't even bad, but they're just not great. And I'd love if they were great. If this had the Simagic GT Neo or FX, the Cube Controls, F Core, if it had those grips, those nicer grips, nicer shaped grips, because the material is nicer than the Simagic GT Neo. If it just had those nicer shaped grips, this could be an almost perfect wheel. That's it from me. I will be using this on my streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm Lawrence, and I'll chat to you later.